In every forgotten corner of the country, there's a place no one wants to talk about. In the village of Hollow Mill, that place is the old windmill. Every night the bell rings, and no one knows why. Not anymore. You ever hear the story of the bell at Hollow Mill? Maya asked. Jordan laughed. That place is just a tale to scare kids. Then let's go, Leo smirked. Cass hesitated. People say no one ever comes back from there. The fire cracked louder than before. Branches clawed at their clothes as they made their way toward the village ruins. The windmill stood tall in the distance, its silhouette broken and bent. It's bigger than I imagined, whispered Maya. No birds, no insects, just silence. A sudden gust of wind swept through the trees. Then, clang! The bell above the windmill began to ring. Slow, hollow. 1, 2, 3 times. It's automatic, right? Jordan asked, though his voice trembled. No one answered. The floorboards creaked under their feet. Old machinery loomed in the shadows. The bell rope was swinging slowly, back and forth. Okay, who's messing with us? Leo said, scanning the room. But they were alone. Or so they thought. Guys, Cass held up a faded photo. It showed 4 teenagers standing by the same windmill. Not them, but one looked exactly like Maya. That's not possible, Maya whispered. Behind the teens in the photo, the bell rope was swinging. A cold chill swept through the room. Then, a whisper. Low, croaking. It repeated the same phrase. Ring, ring, ring. Maya backed into the wall. This isn't a joke, she said, barely breathing. No one laughed. The wind picked up again, howling through the cracks in the walls. But something felt different. An unseen presence seemed to breathe in the darkness. Maya's heart raced. I feel it. We need to leave, she whispered. The bell rang once more, and this time, it sounded like a warning. They turned to the door only to see it slam shut on its own. The air in the room grew thick, oppressive. What the hell is happening? Leo yelled. The floor beneath them trembled, and from the shadows something moved. They weren't alone anymore. A pale, ghostly figure materialized in the corner of the room. It was a woman, her face obscured by a tattered veil. Her eyes, though, were wide open, empty, staring into nothing. Please, don't, she whispered, her voice a distant echo. Leave now, before it's too late. The bell rang louder than ever before. The sound vibrated through their bones, shaking the very foundation of the mill. It wasn't just a bell anymore. It was a cry for help. We need to go now, Jordan screamed. But as they turned to run, the door wouldn't budge. The room was freezing now. Every tick of the clock echoed like a drumbeat in their ears. Suddenly, a low, guttural growl came from the shadows. The figure in the corner moved slowly towards them. Run, Leo screamed, but the door still wouldn't open. She glided forward, her feet barely touching the floor. Her hands were outstretched as if beckoning them closer. You shouldn't have come, she whispered again. Now you are bound to me forever. The bell rang once more, but this time the sound was deafening. The room began to spin, the walls closing in around them. They could hear whispers from every direction. She's coming for us, Cass whispered. She's inside. And then they felt it. the cold, creeping presence of the woman taking over their bodies. One by one, their eyes glazed over. Leo fought it, shaking his head, but the presence was too strong. "Get out of my head!" he screamed. His body jerked violently and his voice cracked. The others were already under her control. One by one, they began to chant in unison, "Ring, ring, ring." The bell rang for the last time. This time it didn't just echo through the mill, it shook the very ground beneath them. As the sound faded, the figures of the friends began to blur, merging into the shadows. The woman stood silent, her eyes never leaving the camera. "You belong to me now," she whispered, and then nothing but silence. Days passed. The village remained empty. The windmill still stood tall, but the bell was silent now. And yet some nights, if you listen closely, you can hear it, ringing, calling, waiting. Some say the curse still lingers in Hollow Mill. Others claim they hear the bell every time the wind howls. And every year someone new vanishes near the mill, never to be seen again. The villagers have long since fled, but the windmill waits, and the bell still rings. The bell, once a tool of warning, now serves as a reminder of the lost souls. It rings not only for the village, but for anyone who dares to venture too close. The sound never fades. It only grows louder, and it calls for those who have not yet been claimed. One night, a traveler comes to Hollow Mill, unaware of the dangers that lie ahead. He hears the bell and follows the sound, drawn like a moth to the flame. He walks through the overgrown path, past the village that once was, and as he approaches the windmill, he hears the voice. "You shouldn't have come." The bell tolls one final time, and in that moment everything goes quiet. The village is empty. The windmill stands still, waiting for its next victim. For those who dare to enter, the bell will always ring, and the curse will never end. And so, the legend of the bell at Hollow Mill lives on, a warning to those who seek the truth but cannot escape the curse. As long as the windmill stands, the bell will ring, and the village will remain lost, forever waiting for the next soul to be claimed.